Welcome back to Gaming News and Breakdowns, and in this video we're going to be going over a resource that I discovered during some research that I was doing on Marathon. Marathon is coming out on March 5th, and I wanted to make some videos going over some of the information, and in doing some research for those videos I came across this website and I thought it would be a good idea to share it with all of you. So without further ado, let's get started. So the website itself is called Marathon Guide. Very importantly, this is not a Bungie website. However, you can still sign in with Bungie at the top here. So if you click that, it'll take you to the Bungie.net login page. You can sign in with any platform you want: PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, Twitch, or Epic. And I'll get into why you might want to do that later. But moving forward, we have the welcome here, as well as a countdown for release. As you can see, it releases on March 5th, and we have a countdown. So at the time of recording this, there are only 28 days left. On the right here, we have the latest news tab, and the last thing that was announced was the release date as well as the pre-order details. I'm going to have a video going over this coming out very soon, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. And if it's out by the time you're watching this, then I'll have a card on the top right of your screen. But the main important details are going to be here on the left with these tabs. So here we have a runner tab, a weapons tab, a faction tab, a map tab, and a database tab. Now all of these tabs align with what is on the home page here, but for the sake of this video, we're going to be going through the tabs themselves. So going on to the runner tab, you're going to see all of the runners here. These are all of the frames, or I guess shells, that you can use in game. And very importantly, they have a rating system. Now this rating system has been updating pretty constantly over the past few days. I think 4 days ago, Triage was at a 3.5 and Destroyer was at a 5.0. And then the next day, Destroyer turned to a 4.5 and Triage turned to a 4.0. And then Triage just recently updated to a 4.3. And also I think Recon was a 5.0 and Rook was a 5.0, and those went down as well. So all of these are constantly changing. It's unclear whether this is based off the community like just idea of the different shells, or if it is what the owner of the website believes. But regardless, there's a rating system so you guys can see which shells are recommended for you to use. On top of that, we do have the basic information. So right now, only Destroyer, Vandal, Recon, and Assassin have their information here. Triage, Thief, and Rook were the 3 more recently announced shells. So information on their abilities and traits are not fully available right now. However, once we get either a beta or the full game release, this should be added to be just as complete as these shells over here. So moving on to what you can actually see. First, we can see the prime ability. So for Destroyer, that would be Search and Destroy, as well as the tactical ability, which would be Riot Barricade. And then you can also see their traits. So you can see Thruster and Tactical Sprint. You can also see each classes, or sorry, you can also see each shell's stats. So you can see what stats they have, as well as what each stat does. If you hover over it, it'll give a little description. And one cool thing about it is this section right here. So this is almost like a build crafter. So you can come and see the different equipment, shields, cores, and those are both cores, and then the head, chest, and leg implants. So something interesting about this is for the implant specifically, you can, let's go ahead and click energy harvesting. You see with the energy harvesting implant, you have -10 firewall and +10 recovery. If we go ahead and click that, the stats will actually change in real time. So you can use this to almost build craft. Here, we'll go ahead and add some more mods. And as we go ahead and build out a sort of like a build, you can see the stats kind of align with that, and basically show you what your stats would look like if you had these items equipped. This can be useful in trying to make a build before going on a raid, as well as just figuring out what you want to find out in the world and what to keep an eye out for so that you can make your shell as powerful as possible. Moving on, we have the weapons tab. So I do want to note that these are not all the weapons in the game. However, these are all of the weapons that were in the alpha, I believe. Again, we have that ranking system, so you can take that with a grain of salt, but overall, every weapon seems to be pretty good. Going into details, I'm going to use the M77 as an example here. You're going to get stats for all of the weapons as well, and some of them even go more into detail. So you have the description of the weapon, and then if we go deeper into firepower, you'll see that damage is 15. There's a 1.5 multiplier for precision. You can see the rate of fire as well as the damage per second. And very helpful, you can see the TTK even with the different shields. So obviously no shield is going to be way faster than a purple shield, but you can see those exact numbers as needed, which is very helpful. Going into accuracy, you can see the hipfire spread, the ADS spread, the crouch spread bonus, and the moving inaccuracy. And then going into handling, you can see the equip speed, ADS speed, weight, recoil, aim assist, and reload speed. So all of those can be shown there, as well as just standard range, magazine, and zoom. I had some mods in here from earlier, but you can go ahead, or we'll clear those. You can go ahead and see what mods can go on each gun. So I just put a flash draw clip on there before. You can pick magazines. So I'll go ahead and pick the hollow case rounds just because they're the blue ones. And then you can get your grips as well. And the M77 doesn't have a scope, but if there is a scope, it'll appear where this X is, and the X will be here or something like that. But you can also see what ammo each weapon takes. So you can see the M77 takes light rounds. An example of the scope would be here. So you have, again, the mods. You can have, well, this one doesn't actually take, or I guess the ammo for this gun isn't in the database yet, but you can see neither are the scopes, but your scopes are going to be there. And you can see that the twin tap HBR has heavy rounds, and we'll go ahead and show another one here. The Volt thrower obviously has Volt batteries, so the different things will have different ammo types, and you can see all of that here. If you click this tab, you'll see that ranking system, and there is a built-in tier list for the weapons. So obviously this is unreliable right now. It's just based off of the alpha, and not all the weapons are in the database yet. However, once the game fully releases, you can actually pick and choose what you want based off of this tier list. So that's pretty useful. And then we have a grid view for anyone who likes spreadsheets. Moving on to factions. You can see all 6 factions. Right now, only the first one is kind of fleshed out, but once the full game releases, all of these will be as fleshed out as the first one. I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm not even going to try. But you can see your contracts here. One of the reasons why I think that or what I think will happen when you sign into Bungie is your contracts and your upgrades, which you can also see here, will track with the website. So once you complete a contract, it will no longer show up here unless you have show completed contracts turned on. That way, it will track your progress for the upgrades and the contracts, and you can figure out easily without actually having to go in-game what you need to do next and what your next objective is. Additionally, here you can see like the rewards for the different upgrades, and you can see which contracts you need to complete for all of the factions. And then our second to last tab are the maps. So right now there are only 2. There's Perimeter and Dire Marsh. That's because these were the 2 maps from the alpha. And so you can see there are different icons here. There's a key here so you guys can see these are the spawn points, the crew exfils, the guarded exfils. You can add high value targets where those spawn. You can add UESC incursions. You can add intercept. You can add hazard room, hazard key, where you call in supply drops, the flare room, and the lockbox key. So let's say you're doing a contract and you need to know where to do the flare room. Well, you can see that you can turn on the flare room, and you'll know that they're there in those two locations, but you don't have the key, so you can do the lockbox key and you can see where you need to get those. So you can see, oh, if we spawned here, that's a pretty good spawn, that's a good route. We can just go there, and then there's a crew exfil near each one of those. So that's just an idea of how you can use it. There's also Dire Marsh, like I said before. So you're going to have the different, icons here, but it's pretty much the same thing. And then when the other maps get added, they will also have the same thing as well. And finally, we have the database. This will have every upgrade item, every weapon, every mod, every anything. This will have it. So you can go ahead and just look through it. You can search items. So if I go here, I can search an item. So let's say I want the M77 that we were looking at earlier. I can type that in and we can find it here. And one thing that I think this is going to be very useful is for finding builds before the actual game launches. So for example, myself, I'm very interested in triage. You can't see it here, but we know that through triage, the med drone will clone your consumables onto other runners that have the med drone. So let's say you're running with an assassin, a recon, and a triage, and you're the triage. If you put the med drone on these two, then any consumables you take will be cloned onto your teammates. And if we want, let's say we want to find items that help benefit that. So one of the ones we can do, if we're just looking, we can see that there are these two items. Obviously, early game, you're probably going to get the green one. We can go ahead and click that, and we can see that this item gives us 8 slots, which can carry more items, which is nice. And then health and shield consumables slightly are faster, which is very useful, especially if you're a triage, because that means that your allies are getting that cloned, sped up consumable usage as well. And then in the later game, probably in if you go to the marathon ship or you go to like the more intense maps of the game, you're going to find the 24 XS Medpack Plus. This will add 24 slots instead of the 8. It gives us that other one, that other benefit, the significantly faster health and shield consumable usage, as well as these bonuses here. Health consumables also recharge a portion of shields, and shield consumables also recharge a portion of health. This item is going to be very useful on triage because these two are most likely, I'm not 100% sure, but if I'm understanding correctly, whenever you use a health consumable, any allies that have the drones on them will also gain health and shield, and vice versa. When you use shield, they will also gain shield and health. So my opinion, this prestige backpack is going to be the best item to have on triage for the backpack. But that's just an example of how you can use this database to start making builds, start looking for things that work together. Again, as well, one of the things with triage is he can use volt battery ammo to, he can overcharge them so that when you break shields, it will EMP enemy runners. So you can go ahead and look up, ammo, volt battery. Well, this doesn't actually show the exact weapons, but you can look up weapons and such and figure out which ones use the volt batteries and, which ones would be good for certain runners. And, I think there's some invisibility mods for assassin and recon mods for recon. So that is how you can use the database to start making some builds. And yeah, that's about going to wrap up the video. Let me know if you guys think this site is useful, and I'm going to be using it in some of my future videos going over marathons. So if in case you didn't know about this site, I just wanted to give a quick showcase of it so that you guys can use it for yourselves. So I'm going to leave a link in the description as well as in the pinned comment. Hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope to see you in another one, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Take care, guys.